3 times have I played Orion, and each time I thought that's the closest it can be. But still new nuances came up, new notes unheard before. For the past 4 years, I had this idea to make the Take 4 and finally get it 100% accurate as Cliff Burton played. But I won't. There will always be something we missed, or something could not play just like Cliff. And so instead, I decided to do the exact opposite, to play like if I was hired by Metallica. Jason and Robert did their own variations. And so, what you're gonna see today is not the original way of playing Orion, but with my own touch, considering both practical reasons and musical reasons. And some showing off, not without that.
And this is from a collaboration with Ben Zimmerman, who makes symphonic versions of Metallica songs, and we recorded it from scratch. And if you want to hear Orion with symphony in its full glory, link in description. Thank you, Ben, for collaboration. You're a genius.
First you hear the entire track, the entire cover, and then I'll explain each section, each part where I did differently, why I did so. Enjoy listening, and thank you, Cliff, for such a masterpiece. And first, general thoughts, general direction I took while butchering Orion, and to a significant degree it was due to practical reasons, to consider the specifics of my bass. So it has 22 frets instead of 24 that Cliff had, and he utilized that in Orion. He had this huge bend, and I gotta make it even huger on this bass. And on top of that, I used the thickest string gauge. I think this is 45, 105, and Cliff used the thinnest, 35, 90, yeah, I think. That's how he did all the crazy bends, plus his incredible stamina and strength. But I prefer thick strings for the sound. Once I set 40s, I think that was for my first Orion, and I thought I would break the string. They were so thin, so fragile, they felt. So yeah, instead of making that huge bend, risking my fingers and my bass, I did the artificial harmonic from the 17th to 14th fret on the 3rd string. Pinching. And that's how I get it 1 octave higher, or 2. Then it goes pretty much like Cliff did. But in that hard lick that every one of you might have been struggling with, I had to cut corners. I taught you to play the original way.
3 times hitting string, kind of gallop.
With this, I actually lost some stamina, and I really had a hard time nailing it. Then goes the arpeggios. I felt like doing some running ups. Cliff did that straightforward with layering some harmony on that. And by the way, you did not hear any harmony in my cover because that was the point. I wanted to have one track as if I played it live. And then at the end, the tail. It repeats the framework of Cliff's tail, but I did that in an interval of a third down, basically the 6th. That allowed me to do the bend easier, the thicker string, and then I just went down the scale and completed it with the low E. You have bass, such a large range. You gotta utilize that. And initially it was even lower. But that sounded too muddy in the mix, so I replaced that with the medium version.
And as I am editing this, I so want to punch myself, because and that's why I'm filming on balcony. Sometimes I may sound so arrogant, like if I want to improve Orion. No! So please write that off to the lack of my vocabulary, alright?
So yeah, we started with the sweetest part, and now let's go from the beginning to the end. Whoa, that's the biggest mystery of Orion. How Cliff played the intro, was that bass or keyboard or both, how many tracks he put there. Did he do that in reverse or every fucking thing? And Robert Trujillo does his own variation using his 5-string bass. And everyone seems to play differently. These tabs, wrong tabs of Orion intro have been circulating in the internet, in the tab books, and still I managed to find my own variation that fits my own purposes. I really love when bass parts are going in this low position. Octave E, that's vibrating so sexy. My balcony is trembling from the bass. Minor triad B, B and D, and then major. That's it, that's all. that the intro is actually these notes that sounded full, and plus, as you might have noticed, I did not use distortion. How? That's a heresy! How do you not play the intro of Orion without distortion? And that sounded really fresh to me, something unexpected. Actually, I would not have the balls to do that had not I done that before. In my song Gone Too Far, dedicated to Cliff, at the end I did the outro. It had this damage incorporated intro vibe, all these layers reversed. But that sounded so muddy, so I just turned off the distortion, left that dry sound, and that worked. I lied to you that I did not use 2 tracks. I actually recorded this straight away and then played the reverse parts, like... and then ran it backwards and layered on the main track. And so you hear that swell into the chords. So that filled the emptiness there. It made it this kind of fancy Orion intro vibe, without anything fancy at all. Then we have the main parts. Cliff did not play this. He composed this riff. He allowed to play that sweet notes, that key note, that D sharp or E flat for the guitars, and he was doing his job. Because bassist has to go with both rhythm guitar and drum track. That's what Cliff was doing in Orion 2. He found a compromise between Lars and James. But my fingers wanted to do just D, E and B, make it even more bassy and do that accent with my attack. So the main riff goes 6 times. You know, after the 4th time, I felt the need to bring something new to the bass part. So what I did? I played the wrong way everyone has been playing. Because that actually fits, and that's, in a way, my tribute to the internet, to all the people who played this way, not knowing that Cliff did differently. And then goes the part, which I did not change at all. That's the way it has to sound regardless. So I don't know why Robert Trujillo plays his own variation. Does it a bit easier in a way, which to me makes no sense because in the essence it's a pretty easy lick. My fingers just cannot do it the other way. And then starts actually my favorite part of the recording. I was so frustrated that it did not capture all the attack, all the power brought into performing it, to the point that I thought I would break my strings. And hear how it sounds on the camera mic. It derives from the bridge riff, but on the lower register, and initially Cliff just played this the same way, just 2 octaves lower. Instead of playing tremolos, the accents. It's not cheating, it's not cutting corners, but rather bringing power, more connection with the bass and drums into the part. They sound like a whiplash. I really like when gallops go with non-gallop parts. That's like a puzzle, and when it matches, I just have to use it, which you might have heard in some of my stuff. And now it's the interlude, which to many is the essence of Orion. And we come to a new tonality. We went from E to F sharp. And many of you on the 4th note I played knew what I've done. took the way Jason Newsted played this part. This note instead of this note. But they are alright, they are harmonically friendly. But the changes didn't stop there. This resolution from F to F sharp as a reference to resolution from D sharp to E. And that's gonna work only in notes in between. A fast fleeting note that just resolves and brings some new color and little spice to it. The whole part goes for almost 3 minutes. And of course, as Cliff was gone, he wanted to do some little fills to water it down. But when it's necessary, when the harmonies hang some notes and Cliff got room for some soloing. Because being the lead instrument is not the first nor even the second rule of bass. The first rule of bass is make peace between melody and rhythm, and the second, don't interrupt melody. And for the most part, Cliff just improvised these fills. Mostly did that within pentatonic, the dry scale. And when I could do my own fills, did them a bit wet. Again, he was improvising them, which I cannot do. And then I made the biggest change to Orion. First part of the development. No change at all, and then I just went a full octave lower. A risky move that was really drastic, but again, bass is such a big instrument. You can both go into the domain of solo guitar on the high frets and do something that guitar cannot do on the lowest notes. And that's what I wanted to utilize, going from the highest to the lowest within one section. And then move one octave lower kind of prepared us to go into the lows. Harmony stops and lead guitar takes the spotlight. And bass has to do the exact opposite, to go as minimalistic as possible. While in the original there were some extra notes, I went just with simply whole notes all the way, with no changes. And the contrast of going super minimalistic before the bass solo shines even more. And at the end goes double bass. I found a way to include the connection, the middle octave between the low version and the original high bridge. And to me it was like the puzzle is solved.